my buddy Nick Wright. He's co-host First Things First. Also got What's Right. He's got a new podcast, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursdays. And Nick, I said earlier, listen, Michael Jordan's career ended kind of sloppy. So did Shaq. So did Brett Favre's. That's just, I can remember like Ewing in a Magic jersey and Hakeem in a Raptor jersey. And to me, Kevin Durant's legacy, ascending star, number 2 to LeBron, won a bunch of titles, MVP, and now it's ugly. I think his legacy is set. Do you believe losing the way he's losing and a bit trapped in Brooklyn, is it going to ding his legacy?
Well, listen, I don't think that. I think his legacy is mostly set, but I think he has room to grow. And obviously, this year didn't help grow his legacy. I want to discuss something about Kevin Durant with you, though, because we were just talking about this on the podcast. My apologies for not getting in my regular television wardrobe. We just finished the podcast, and so I sat down and talked to you. I'm wearing the more podcast casual wardrobe. I hope you're not offended.
Nope.
I am bringing just the exact same energy and takes for you, just in a slightly more casual outfit. So here's the deal, Colin. My only issue with KD at the present moment is he seems to take issue with the way he is being evaluated by us in the media, by Barkley, by contemporaries, which denies the fact he is being evaluated the way all of the greatest of the greats have been evaluated, which is we do not measure all championships exactly equally, and we do add context. Colin, if I were to say to you, Kobe Bryant has 5 titles, are some more important for his legacy than the others, you would say yes, obviously. The last 2 that he got without Shaq are wildly important for how he is remembered as a player. To do that without Shaquille O'Neal. Let's pretend for a moment that LeBron James, after leaving Miami, never won another ring. Do you think people would still be like, might be the greatest player ever? Or do you think people would say, listen, LeBron, one of the greatest players ever, however, could never win outside of D. Wade's cocoon in Miami, what had been built there. And while he was the best player on those teams, couldn't win elsewhere. No, of course we would. But then LeBron won in Cleveland and won with the Lakers. These are all, so Kevin Durant being so bothered by the fact that we are treating him the same way people treated Magic Johnson. Magic, all-time great, but can the Lakers win a title once Kareem declines, when it's not Kareem's team? Yeah, they could, and they did, and it elevated him. Kevin Durant has not yet answered that question. And until he does, because he is now in the world where he is compared to Kobe and Bird and Duncan and Dr. J and Shaq and Hakeem. Those are his contemporaries. He is going to be held to those standards. And so he is better than Barkley. Barkley's an all-timer, and he's better than him because Barkley joined a team that had won titles, a team that had knocked him out when he joined Houston, and they didn't win. So, I don't know exactly what Kevin Durant wants in this regard. I feel like it is treating him with respect to hold him to the standard of the only box you haven't checked off is winning a title that you put together as a leader.
Yeah.
And we're waiting to see him do it. A lot of the world thought he was going to do it this year or last year. He's come up short both times.
Well, it's interesting. We know winning matters to him. That's why he left Oklahoma City and went to Golden State. We know winning matters. I will say this, just thinking about it as you discussed it, is that Aaron Rodgers and Kevin Durant, the minute a contemporary wins more than them, suddenly both have this, hey, life's more than my sport. It's like, if you'd have gone to Brooklyn and won back-to-back titles, would you be so casual and indifferent to winning? If Aaron had 4 Super Bowls, would he be like, Jeopardy, Hollywood? It's easy to pivot to, hey, man, my life's bigger than my sport. When contemporaries are winning the titles and you're getting knocked out at Lambeau again off a bye and Brooklyn swept in the first round. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, listen, I think that's fair. I also think Kevin Durant is very clearly obsessed with basketball. loves basketball, a true gym rat. We know this. KD has talked years ago when he was talking about comparisons with he and LeBron. He talked about how we all have the same amount of time, right? And he talked about how LeBron spends so much time on his body, while KD prefers to spend time in the gym on his game. Now, one could argue that maybe he should have done a little more LeBron in that regard, and maybe LeBron should have done a little more KD. Maybe he'd be a better free throw shooter, right? Maybe they both should have met in the middle a little bit more, one could argue. I think KD truly loves basketball. I don't, but I think what is interesting about KD and Kyrie is I think they love being basketball, obviously, and love being NBA players, but don't seem to particularly enjoy a lot of the things that go along with it. And Kyrie, I got the impression during these playoffs, he'd prefer to be playing at times in empty arenas.
Yeah.
But you could do that, but you don't get the platform to spread whatever message you want to spread, the money, the fame, all of those things. Kevin Durant's going to make probably $500 million, if not more, off the court because of the media attention, because how much people love the game. Well, what goes along with that is when you are one of the greats, you are going to be scrutinized. And I think it is slightly immature to act surprised or shocked or dismayed that you are, when you were the favorites to win the title and you were the only team in the league this year to make the playoffs and get swept, and you had the worst series of your career, that there's going to be some discussion about that and how that impacts how we view you compared to the greatest of the all-time greats.
So this is interesting. You have a much more dynamic nightlife than I do. I go to bed, I eat chicken parm, I watch games, I get up, I don't smoke. Oh, yeah. You are the James Harden.
Cocktails,
you're the James Harden of talk show hosts. You close nightclubs. You are very dynamic, and I'm watching James Harden, and I'm thinking to myself, well, he's aging really fast, and this is what happens when you've made a lot of money. And you've closed the nightclubs, and LeBron, Russell Wilson, they're obsessed. I mean, it's like, a body. Well, that's why their careers last longer. It's not a knock on James. It is a reality of James Harden. And we both, I think you like him more than me, but my takeaway is I think they won the trade, but this is maybe how the last few years are going to be, Nick. He's slow.
I'm concerned, Colin, about his inability to get past people.
He can't.
There's no way around it. Let's be clear. Harden's brilliance was never raw, dynamic athleticism. He's one of the smartest players ever. If you want to put it kindly, he's one of the craftiest players ever. His passing is brilliant, all those things. But these plays, some of which that we're showing, he used to be getting by guys. He would get guys on his hip. He would go up for that floater. He's not getting past anybody anymore.
Yeah.
That is concerning. Ever since the hamstring injury, which, to his credit, despite the nightlife, despite everything you're saying, he was an absolute Iron Man. He was playing 80-plus games every year, heavy minutes, was never hurt. And so I give him massive credit for that.
Yep.
But right here, this play is concerning, man. And I understand. I think it's hard for me to see from here. I think that's Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes, excellent player, is also a rookie. James Harden is not beating anybody off the dribble anymore. That's concerning. And, for Philly, there's a lot of things concerning. I mean, everyone says no one's ever blown a 3-0 lead. Well, only 3 teams, Colin, up 3-0, have even had to play a Game 7. And one of them was the 1951 Rochester Royals. I don't know if you covered that team, but it was a little before my era. So it's pretty damn rare. Yeah. You're up 3-0, and you even face a Game 7. Philly is staring down the barrel of a very, very dangerous situation.
So I have my takeaway on it, but I'm going to hand the floor to you. Jerry West said this week, I'm going to take it to the Supreme Court. I don't like how I'm being treated by HBO and Adam McKay. What do you make of the logo in his twilight years of basketball executiveship? What do you make of this stand and the Lakers as a whole being very turned off by it?
All right, I'm going to answer this quickly. Please ask me a John Morant question. Sorry, I know it's your show, but please do. But here's my answer. Right. I empathize because I don't think I'd like it either. I think, if in 30 years somebody made a docudrama about the creation of FS1, which 30 years from now is the world's largest sports platform, and I'm watching it, forget even if I'm portrayed poorly, I don't even know if I'd make it. But if in that docudrama they make old Uncle Colin seem like a jerk, a bad guy, I think it would bother me. I think I would, on your behalf, I would be like, I want to sue. However, it's make-believe. It's not, I feel like you're allowed to take liberties on things you're trying, it's entertainment. And as long as they are not presenting it as, this is a 100% accurate portrayal, then I don't, listen, God only knows, Supreme Court surprised me a lot in the last 18 months, Colin, got to tell you. So I'm not really up on the latest libel laws in America. However, I'm not certain he's going to have a great success there.
Okay, so here's my Ja Morant thing. Oh, the media. Oh, Ja Morant. You are struggling as a 2 seed with a marginal team that played a play-in game. By the way, the T-Wolves were a bad road team, one of the worst fourth quarter teams. For the second, led by 11 last night. I watched every second of this game. And if not for, seriously, Ja Morant being Ja Morant with about a minute left, they've lost 2 home games to a team. By the way, in the East, the 2 seed swept the 7 seed, and they had KD and Kyrie. This team is struggling with a mediocre basketball team, and all I hear about is, Ja Morant this, Ja Morant that. Something's off with Memphis, because this is not a good Minnesota team.
Yeah.
Something's off.
Okay, well, first of all, you're slightly underselling Minnesota. Minnesota's a dumb team. They play silly basketball. They make ridiculous mistakes. But they have a lot of talent. And you say they are in the play-in. They're in the play-in because the NBA changed the rules. They were the 7 seed. They were the true and fair 7 seed if they're pre-play-in. So they're a legit playoff team with a couple number 1 picks and a number 2 pick. Like, I think Minnesota's fine. They're not great. If you're saying, this is why I don't think Memphis will beat Golden State in the next round, fine. But you, as you often do, it's like you survey the sports landscape and you say, who is amazingly exciting and everyone loves? I don't think I like him. Who can jump the highest and run the fastest? Not my type of guy. Like, how can you be anti-Ja Morant? The guy yesterday, here's a different take on Ja Morant yesterday. Had one of the single greatest playoff dunks ever that spurred his team from 13 down to the biggest win the Grizzlies have had as a franchise in a half-decade, and he scored their final 13 points, including going 6 of 6 at the free throw line, hit a key 3, and the game-winning layup. How about that for a guy in year 3 who's he's 21 years old, number 2 pick of the draft? How about you root for Ja Morant, Colin?
I'm not rooting against him. I think he's a great kid. He's really fun. He's the most dynamic guy in the league. Listen, I love Giannis. He's not that fascinating to watch. Ja Morant's fascinating. Ja Morant's, you ever sit in the side of a road, see a Maserati drive by? It doesn't get good gas mileage. I wouldn't want to own one in bad weather.
See, there it is. There it is. Even in the Ja Morant Maserati analogy, you can't help yourself. But like, they're terrible in the snow and the gas mileage is awful. But you can't help yourself. For some reason, if a vertical leap is above 42 inches and a 40-yard dash time is sub 4.3, Colin's like, I don't know if I can trust you. So we need to investigate this. We need to turn Colin pro-Ja Morant.
I'm not.
I am pro-Ja Morant.
I am not anti-Ja Morant. I am offering critical thinking that we're getting a little crazy on the dunks, although I watch them. I just think I can't figure out why they're struggling in this series. They're a way better basketball team. They were 19-2 without Ja. How are they struggling at home with this team again? How? Something's off.
Okay. They're young. They're new. That's fine. But just come on, man. You and I weren't friends when we didn't know each other. I felt like I knew you, but I didn't during the Derrick Rose heyday. And I know you're like, the Derrick Rose thing didn't work. His knees blew out. You don't get to do a Derrick Rose victory. The guy's knees blew out. So let's just try to enjoy an electrifying, fun basketball player that is bringing life to a great basketball city.
All right. I'll sleep on it. All right. There's a Nick Wright. Next time, collared shirt if you can, but at least it's Muhammad
Dress
Ali.
up.
So, all right.
Yeah, I know. Listen, buddy. Sorry, this is my third show today. I just got done with the podcast. I sat down.
I get it.
My apologies.
All right, Nick
See
Wright.
ya.
First things first, got a new podcast. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.